And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show, and this is going to be episode 315. So I hope you guys had a good day, and I hope you guys have a great weekend that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, we have one topic for you guys tonight, and that will be on DC Comics cancels Green Arrow. So it was announced roughly about a week ago that DC Comics will be canceling its current ongoing Green Arrow comic book series. And then that started a flurry of, social media, outcry over what's been going on with comics and what's been going on with the state of the industry and all that stuff. But don't worry, we are going to be getting into all of that here just in a little bit after we have our usual guy bro conversations that you guys all know and love, because this comic book cancellation, along with the other one that ended up happening on the same day, just further highlights the red flags that I always have been seeing in the comic book industry. And then you're apparently a horrible person for pointing these things out. And it's like, what is that in life now? You point out something that's bad, that's just objectively bad in every single regard, and then someone goes, "No, you're the problem." Do you remember like years ago when the new Disney Star Wars trilogy was coming out, like in a 2-year gap kind of thing? And then if you literally didn't like the movies, people called you a Nazi or you were a misogynist. Like, what? What?
There's people who made their entire careers off of saying stuff like that, So yeah.
Absolutely insane. But we are here with Lunchbox Warren for our Friday show, and he's here every week out. Every
month. I wish I had a life, but I don't.
Oh, so whoa! That means he's basically settling for me. God damn! But how you been doing, dude?
I've been doing all right. Huh?
Look like you're dead.
Oh, I am. I've been working so much, and also working on some commission art while doing the other stuff. So yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah. So there's been so much that's going on. We were going to talk about the Kamala Harris thing, but as you guys know, I was just so tired. I just wanted to just do one topic and just be good with that. Probably wrap up in like an hour and 10, hour 20. Then I'll just go play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel for the rest of the night, honestly, because life's been pretty hectic. It's just only been hectic from a job point of view. Like, work's been so busy recently because we have a massive inspection coming up for this coming week on Thursday. So it's just been literally hell. Just hell. That's the only way to describe it. But everything's been going pretty good. People have asked me which omnibuses that I ended up getting that I really wanted to get because I had to save up a little bit of money to get them. So I bought Batman by Neil Adams because that one's like mega out of print. And I finally got the Wolverine Omnibus Volume 1. And these are probably the most expensive omnibuses I've ever bought because they already start at like $200 minimum because they're already mega out of print. Why DC Comics and Marvel Comics don't reprint stuff pretty often is fucking beyond me. And what's interesting, because if you guys watch Near Mint Condition, Omar, he always points out that even when they do reprints for like these books, they short print them. Like, they don't do them in a mass print run like they did previously. Now, is that because they're trying to create an artificial, like an artificial kind of like scarcity of them? Who knows, honestly. But that's what I've never liked about comics, because with trading card games like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, these are the card games that I play, they have a dedicated reprint structure. Like, at a certain point of the year, when certain things are pretty much at the end of its life cycle, things get reprints, like certain cards, archetypes get reprints. Comic books do not function that way. And every single comic book vendor that I talk to at Frank & Sons agree with me. They're like, hey, when you were first into comic books, you were kind of like you didn't really know what you're doing. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then I learned and I got better at knowing how to do this. This one guy tried talking to me like I was an absolute moron. He was like, which comic books do you buy? And I was like, I'm going to be getting Wolverine Omnibus Volume 1 this week. He was like, yeah, you can get them and you could have all those older issues in one book. I'm like, yeah, I know how this works. He was literally talking to me like I was an absolute idiot. Like, I just didn't know like what I was even doing.
Well, you
I was like,
must have gave off that vibe to him or something.
God, man. No, but
yeah, it has been a problem because the problem comics are facing right now is partially because it was around the 90s with that, when the variant cover boom and comics was probably at its peak. that collectors markets just blew up, and Marvel really switched gears, and so did DC. That's why DC, you see now, are getting books out in more places, and I believe reprinting old stories and those omnibuses will probably become more more of a regular thing in the future. Um, Especially if Marvel pulls its head out of its ass like DC has. I could start seeing both companies kind of changing to try to be more of a mass market instead of focusing on collector value.
Mhm.
A lot of this stuff.
Oh, and I might get a Mobile Suit Gundam, the Origin Deluxe Edition hardcover. Um, I'll probably just end up doing that through Amazon Prime at some point. I'm gonna put it in my cart right now. I don't have anything Gundam related at all. I have the Vinland Saga Deluxe Edition, oversized hardcover, Volume 1. I forgot which publisher actually does those books, but those books are gorgeous. Those books are pretty good, I would say, as far as a quality standpoint.
Vinland Saga is have you read it yet?
Not yet. I
Vinland
have the
Saga
book
is
over there.
amazing. It is so
Really?
good. Oh yeah, it is so good. It's kind of it follows Vikings,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not realistic history, but it's fun. Like the
Okay.
Vikings do stuff. Like one guy's like throwing trees, as spears. So they over exaggerate their abilities, but it's not like not going too crazy. And it is just a great story, and the artwork is beautiful. Some of the backgrounds have 4 different artists working on them because of how detailed they are, like down to drawing individual leaves in some scenes. It's just beautiful artwork, very much like Berserk, with artwork wise, quality wise.
So, are you interested in going to see that new Demon Slayer movie? Because I know you've watched Demon Slayer. Did you have any
Oh
interest
yeah,
in
as
going to
soon
the
as I
movie?
have money, some not a broke ass, I want to go see it. My nephew's already watched it, and he said it was great. I've heard nothing but good things, and yeah, I've been kind of itching to see this movie. I want to go see that one, and then there's a Chainsaw Man one coming up too, a movie, and I'm excited to see both. But yeah, it's I've been really looking forward to that one.
God, I remember like anime movies coming out, and now at this point, they're just making so much money. Like,
Well, yeah, I think
apparently, that new Demon Slayer movie that just came out made more
yeah,
money than every single MCU movie that was released this year. That is insane to think about at
yeah,
this
it was
point.
like an 80 million or some shit like that. Like for the first week, it was a crazy.
Yeah, so I gotta go buy Demon Slayer Volume 1. I might just buy that full manga box set. It has all the 23 volumes, but the reason why I kind of like to buy certain mangas like one at a time is because if I buy it all at once and I don't like it, then I kind of, like, damn, I do have to finish reading this. So I'm gonna so we should probably do that. We probably should go through Demon Slayer. Do you have all the manga volumes individually?
I used to. I just gave them to my nephew because he's a Demon Slayer
You
fan.
gave stuff to your nephew. How
Oh
dare
yeah,
you?
I give manga because I figured it's all done now, and then the TV series or the movies are doing great, so I figured there's going to be a 3-in-1 or a special edition coming up soon. So I kind of got rid of some of my manga by giving it to my nephew because I figure Jujutsu Kaisen, which is another great one, is going to have some deluxe ones coming up, and I imagine so will some kind of 3-in-1 for Demon Slayer too. So I'm kind of going to keep an eye out and rebuy them. I will say this about Demon Slayer: it's one of the rare times that the anime is better than the manga. Just to give a heads up,
Okay.
because the the weakest thing about Demon Slayer is it's the story structure. So in the anime, it is so beautifully animated; it kind of makes up for some of the problems with the story.
Mhm.
In the manga, you don't get any of the protection of the animation, so it doesn't. I always thought the anime was better than the manga when it came to Demon Slayer. One of the rare times.
How many seasons and episodes does it have?
Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
It has 4 seasons, which are broken up into the different arcs of the book, and then it has technically 2 movies now,
Yeah.
but they absorbed the train movie into the second season. So if you watch the first season and then you get the train arc and the entertainment district arc, which is season 2, then you have the Sword Village arc, season 3, and then you have the Hashia training arc, which is season 4, and that leads you into the movie. And the shortest season is season 4 because it's only like 13 episodes.
Demon Slayer episode. So like, I was gonna think of a thing we could do potentially. We could either go through the manga or we just go through all the episodes, or we go through each season. So you said, yeah, there's 4 seasons. First season has 26 episodes. That's crazy.
It's 26 like those 25-minute episode deals.
63 episodes altogether, 4 seasons. So yeah, that could be something we could do in the future. It's going over Demon Slayer because people do talk about it a lot, and I'm like, fucking hell, I will probably.
You haven't watched or read any of it?
No, I heard Demon Slayer was for losers, and I stayed away from it.
Oh, jeez. You're so judgmental. So
if I hear something is for losers, I am out. Not even touching that. Good Lord. But you know what? I'll just get volume 1 right now on Amazon Prime. I saw it at my Walmart. I probably should have just got it then, but technically I saved money buying it off Amazon Prime because it's 10 at Walmart for like the tax, like $12. So yeah, buying it here is saving me money. Yeah, fuck it. I'll just buy it.
Yeah.
Right $7.30.
Have you read Jujutsu Kaisen?
I bought the manga for that. I haven't watched that or read it either.
Is that pretty good? That one's better than Demon Slayer, in my opinion.
So let's see. Give me 1 second. So
dude, I can talk about anime and manga for hours.
So recently, I finished collecting all Yu-Gi-Oh! The original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters manga, 3-in-1s. I do have individual mangas of like my favorite duels from the series, manga format, but I wanted them all in 3-in-1, big, beautiful editions. And then I have to finish Naruto. And then after I finish Naruto in 3-in-1, I don't know which one I'm going to do. I'll probably end up doing Inuyasha. That's one of my favorite animes too. I'll probably finish that one. And then I'll probably finish Bleach. And then I'll probably finish One Piece. Because like you can literally get the One Piece 3-in-1 at most Walmarts or Targets. And imagine that, just getting 3 mangas for like $15 in an omnibus format.
Yeah,
like,
you're going to need like 300 of them
to
catch up. But it's over 1,000 volumes right now. So the 3-in-1 wise, you're going to need like almost 400 3-in-1s to catch up.
For One Piece. So currently, One Piece, the last time I bought someone that, I think I bought Tiny, the updated One Piece manga, and I think we capped it at which One Piece manga did I get her? One Piece manga. It was in like the 120s, I think, or 130s. I forgot which one I recently got her, but I remember I bought her a One Piece manga, and it was like very, very far in to where they're currently at right now.
I bought the 3-in-1s. Those are pretty good. They're over there behind R2D2. The 3-in-1s are pretty good on those ones.
So the 3-in-1s, that's probably the better, cheaper route to go.
I would, especially with one with like One Piece, where there are so many of them.
I think it's better paced in the manga, actually. So when people say it's badly paced, I think that's just from an anime point of view. The manga is usually paced pretty darn
well. The problem with One Piece is they added a shit ton of filler in the anime, so then it does kind of drag in places as far. Of course, I'm only like a third of the way in, so
okay. I bought her volume 106. I got her volume.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah.
So One Piece 3-in-1, they just recently released a new one. One Piece 3, because you can find the first one at Walmart easy. I've seen it many times, but it's just so much easier to just grab basically a manga omnibus than buying 3 individual mangas. But people always ask, like, what if my manga series doesn't have a 3-in-1? That sucks, because it's, from what I've seen, it's only done for specific animes like Shonen Jump adjacent ones or the Shonen Jump ones. Like, I would prefer if every manga had a 3-in-1 if you can get it.
When I was at Barnes and Noble, Barnes and Noble, I noticed more 3-in-1s popping up. So I'm wondering if it's going to start trending because of how much people like them, that you might start seeing 3-in-1s in everything now. Like, I fully expect 3-in-1 Demon Slayers or deluxe edition Demon Slayers or Jujutsu Kaisens here in the next
Those
year.
Are coming up. They have, because My Hero Academia doesn't even have 3-in-1s.
Oh, yet. I imagine My Hero will also have, Yeah, that's
But they
another one
recently just
too.
put out the last manga volume for My Hero Academia like a few months ago. So I would imagine the 3-in-1s for these current animes like Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, and My Hero Academia, they should be having 3-in-1s in like, if not next year, the year after that. Because One Piece right now, they just put out their latest omnibus. It has volumes 103 through 105. So currently, guys, you could just get One Piece, the omnibuses, just 35 of those, and I can promise you right now that'll save you more money than buying them individually, like way more money, because you're essentially getting 3 mangas for $15 essentially. So you can see how much that saves you without buying each volume individually. And if you buy all the omnibuses and you want to just keep up with the individual smaller books when they come out, you can do that too, honestly. But yeah, I wish every fucking manga had a omnibus. Oh my
I
god.
wish they all had the deluxe format because I love the bigger size. I can look at the art and I love that shit. Like I love My Hero Academia art story wise. It's all right. I have my problems with it, but I love the artwork. So I would buy deluxe versions of those.
Grey Poupée, what take are we on? One, I
We
think.
are in take 2.
Orange Avenger, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Walter, what's up, man? He says, I'm excited for Chainsaw Man. The arc in the manga was pretty sweet. I tried watching
Yeah, it
episode
was
one of
really
that.
cool.
I tried watching episode 1 and it just literally wasn't my thing. It was beyond cringe. Like that character is a loser. I'm not saying it didn't get better or whatever, but that guy, like they were talking about pooping a lot. They were talking about one dude just kneeing another guy in the balls. I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell? It was the cringiest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But then again, I heard it's actually pretty good for a lot of people, which is awesome. But I don't watch losers animes. I'm more of a top G Riz master, right, Warren?
Whatever. You watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't even tell me
Yu-Gi-Oh's for
about that.
top G's. What are you talking about?
No,
Oh my,
no, it's a Saturday morning cartoon of anime.
it's cartoon. You take that back. I hate the art of Jujutsu Kaisen, so I prefer the anime, which is beautifully animated. Yeah, back in the day, if you liked anime and you actually got a chance to buy manga, people were like, "Oh, but you're ahead of the manga." Like that was an actual. I know about so many anime things because I've been with anime forever. People would insult you for being ahead of them if you just chose to read the series, even though that's how you get an anime is because you have a manga. That's the source material. Like I would like to find out how many animes came before the manga, which is typically your source material. There can't be that many, right?
What is there? There is. I looked this up before too because there is a couple animes from back in the day, and there are a couple current now, but it's very rare that they do straight to anime and then maybe a manga to follow up on it. But most of the time, it's the manga first and then the anime.
Good lord, like anime fans are so I'm not purist, but weird. And then like what happens in an anime is like something will be stated, but then their brain can't comprehend what is said and what is said to them. And in anime, I like how people just take what villains say as just, oh, they said it, so it must be true. As if they don't clearly understand that a villain has a purpose of lying to you, misleading you, and doing a basic villain thing. And it's just like, oh my god. But yeah, so eventually we will go through Demon Slayer. I love anime movies. I know people never really care for them as much. They've gotten more love over time. I've always liked animated movies. I feel like, generally speaking, the animation's always better because there's more dedicated time on a project than it is to like do it, week to week. What else has there been? The last anime movie I watched in theaters, well, the only one I watched in theaters was Dragon Ball Superhero. That was the last one. That was the only anime movie I watched in theaters. And then I was gonna watch One Piece Red, but I was just that week. I think I was having sex with that girl, so I just couldn't make it to the theaters. As you know.
Oh, sure, yeah, of course.
Goodness gracious! Because I remember the first Demon Slayer movie. It made way more money than I think the Dragon Ball Broly movie, which was disgusting. Because that Dragon Ball Super Broly movie was really, really good. Like,
Yeah, I love that Broly movie. That one was really funny
was
and
very
well
good.
done.
Yeah.
Well, the My Hero movies did really good in America too,
I
as
saw
well
the
as
first
in
two.
Japan. Yeah,
I know there because remember My Hero Academia. I don't know if there was an interview that came out from like the creators or people that worked on the anime where they said that basically after the anime is done, they're just gonna have yearly movies. They said that there's supposed to be like 10 movies. So we've gotten. I think there's a fourth one that already came out. I think. So there should be a 5th movie because I remember they said like 10 movies you're supposed to have after the anime's over. And having a movie come out every single year keeps the anime in relevance. Like the people buy the manga more, people will
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
like watch it and stuff like that. And I would imagine at some point there's gonna be a My Hero Academia Shippuden or like Boruto where it's like the kids and the kids of the kids. It always happens that every show in the anime, like you'll have like the main character, they'll have like a spin-off or side story that's their kids or them doing something different. I know there's vigilantes for My Hero. I know there's team missions.
Yeah,
So
my hero Vigilantes is a prequel to My
yeah,
Hero, and it's just now had its first season of anime. And in my opinion, My Hero Vigilantes is better than My Hero.
which
It's
season? Do you think all the seasons or just
Well,
a
there's
few
only
seasons?
one season of Vigilantes out, but in the manga wise, I read all of Vigilantes manga from start
Mhm.
to finish, and it was way better than My Hero, in my opinion. It was way better written.
Dude, the first
Um,
Demon Slayer movie made $558 million in 20. This
yeah,
was back in 2019, right? No, no, no. This is
uh,
no. This is no 2020. So sorry. Let me go back really quickly. So you said the first movie is based off is Mugen Train, right? So the first
the
movie is
Mugen
Mugen
Train
Train.
is the first Demon Slayer movie.
So this movie, the first one, made $506.4 million. The budget was $15 million. So you'd imagine the marketing for that is probably like 25 million total,
Was
like
that
marketing
worldwide, or is that just
worldwide. Five hundred
it's
six million
worldwide?
dollars. So even if the marketing for it put it up to like $30 million, that's like just $30 million. You know how much money they just made off that?
Yeah, and this is
That's
Japan though, so
crazy.
I don't know how much they spend on
Or how
marketing.
much the current like the currency. I forgot how much the
Yeah,
currency
or the
translates.
exchange rate is, or anything along those lines. But yeah, it's still impressive as hell though.
That's
Um,
insane.
what is the current one doing?
So let's see. So this is the second one, right? So it was the Infinity Castle that you said, right? This is
Yeah,
the
that's the
second
one
movie.
that's currently out right now. Yeah.
This one is currently did $20 million budget. So I'm gonna say $40 million for marketing included. $558 million.
Wow. Yeah, definitely going to keep on making. There's going to be two
These are gonna
more of those
constantly come out.
movies. Well, there's going to be two more Demon Slayer movies to finish up the arc,
Mhm.
because Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, and Jujutsu Kaisen are all doing something different. They're actually adapting the story material from the manga to create the movies.
Mm.
So the last three Demon Slayer movies are essentially the final arc of the manga. The Jujutsu Kaisen movie is going to be the Shibuya arc, which was just came out recently, but they're going to finish the animation and add some stuff to it, and then also the first three-ish episodes of the next season. The Demon Slayer movies are directly just arcs from the books, so it's a lot different than like One Piece or Dragon Ball or even My Hero,
Mhm.
which the movies, there's argument on how much canon they are, because they're not from the manga and they're not ripped out of the manga. Like
Yeah.
all of the movies for My Hero really don't even fit into the timeline, even though they're supposed to be canon.
So the
Because
first movie can at the end of season 2. The first movie can because it's All Might coming up to Deku and being like, "We have to go on this trip. I'm going on this trip. I want you to go with
yeah,
me."
yeah,
The first movie can. The second movie is because it's supposed to be the second movie is supposed to come out after season 4 is over,
yeah. And the second movie had the ending was
and that
what
was supposed to be the ending of the anime because the creator
yeah,
was
that
kind
was
of
what
like,
he
yeah,
originally planned for them to do to beat All for One, was
yeah.
for Bakugo and him to share the one for all. And he had to kind of rewrite what he was doing for the ending, because if the ending of the manga is not
Mhm.
nearly as cool as the ending of some of these other or as some of these other fights. It's like, honestly, it's a very weak ending to an anime or to a manga.
Mhm.
They kind of dropped the ball on it. Jujutsu Kaisen did better. Demon Slayer probably ended the best out of all of them, like as in just craziness. But when it comes to, I thought My Hero was really the weakest of the bunch. And then when the next
Mhm.
season comes out, people will see, because it'll be the end of it. But it has a really rough, abrupt it's not a good ending. Just the way
So
they did
did
it.
you read that, I would say, epilogue manga chapter the 4th that came out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about, right? Where it's
Hmm.
Deku and Uraraka at the end of
Yeah.
it. It's like kind of cute, but it feels so bittersweet because you feel like you could have had something way better than that. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
read that and I went, okay, this could really be some truly epic ending right here. And it's just, I don't know, it ends off very, I wouldn't say not cute is like the best way of putting it. It's like cute but not epic. There's no like romance. There's no like, oh my god, this worked out. You know, it's just, oh, that's just kind of cute. You
Yeah.
know, I was like, fuck. It should have ended, I think, in my opinion, where Deku is All Might. He's he's like the current version of what All Might would have been if he had kept his powers, with them as his teammates. And then they're like the new, you know, how they basically had those teachers teaching them early in the series. They should be like the city's heroes. They should be protected because it should be like a passing of the torch kind of thing. So like Deku at the end of the series would be All Might, a version of All Might. He would be his hero's version. Bakugo would be like Endeavor. Todoroki would be like, oh no, Todoroki would be like his dad. But Bakugo would kind of be that way to some extent. So I would say like you have Todoroki and Bakugo being like Endeavor and like Hawks or whatever, and then you have the girls being like their own versions. That's what I think the series should have went at. But I mean, it kind of did technically because they're supposed to be like teaching people and stuff like that. But it's like that's the problem I have whenever I invest in a series is the endings are never good. It's very rare I've seen an anime or a TV series have very good, satisfying endings. You know?
Well, a lot of it is, yeah, because a lot of it's rushed. Like I can name on, like, because I love a good, complete story. I love when they land the ending. And there was a Stars TV show Spartacus. If you watched it all the way through the beginning to end,
Mhm.
had a really beautiful ending and wrapped up well. One of the best beginning, middle, and end series that I've ever read is Full Metal Alchemist. That one did a great job of holding it in there. The problem with My Hero, and I even think the writer admitted this, is that he really didn't know where he was going, and he was kind of figuring it out as he went. And then if you noticed, it got really rushed there at the end. Like the last 15 volumes was just like the whole vigilante arc, Deku or Dark Deku arc. And then the way they ended, I
I
don't
think he
like what
lost
they did to
passion.
Shigaraki. I don't like what they did, how they ended against All for One.
I think he just lost passion, and I think he was contractually pretty much obligated to finish the series per like these Shonen Jump contracts, which people have revealed are not as amazing as everyone makes out to be. Like people think
yeah.
people in the American comic industry have it bad. I urge anyone go and watch YouTube videos about Type Kubo, Bleach's creator, and he will. There's many interviews about this where he thoroughly goes into what it is like to be at that kind of level when your anime becomes that big of a hit and you have to churn out weekly manga chapters. And keep in mind, these guys are very, very rich. Their work did resonate with a lot of people, and people really, really like the work. But when that happens, like I remember when he said he like 4 hours of free time a week, not a day, a
Oh
week.
yeah, the manga artist schedule is like it's the reason why the My Hero guy has health problems. It's what killed the Berserk creator. The One Piece creator has
He's
health
taken many
problems.
breaks, and he just took a
Yeah.
break. Remember, like Oda literally just took a 6 month break. I mean, the anime did too, but he took a 6 month break from doing the manga. And like when I started doing my Spectacular MSK show, the chapters would come out bi-weekly, but now they're coming out every single week. So he's probably feeling himself now. He's probably got back into it, but
Well, he probably spent most of that 6 months working ahead.
probably also banged his wife too.
Well, I saw his schedule. I don't think it isn't the same anymore, but Oda's schedule was like 2 to 3 hours a week for family time. And it was like he was writing, finishing, and taking to the editor a 21-page chapter a week. And he had it all like mapped out, like his entire schedule was like play with, hang out with family for 2 hours a week, and then it was like go eat, do this, that. Yeah, their work schedule is insane. It's
Yeah.
really unhealthy, and it's one of the things that's been brought up lately. And you're starting to see them be nicer to the creators, like that need a break, because they're starting to lose people. Like when they start having really bad health issues, like the My Hero creator, and then they lost the Berserk creator. They started really scared, like, well, if these guys need breaks, let's give them more breaks. Let's work on that.
I wonder what's going to happen to the Kagurabachi creator. He's been putting out chapters every single week since that manga began.
Yeah,
that guy's been really, really putting in work, and it's one of those things where people always think the grass is greener on the other side, and I just tell people, go and read any interview from the Bleach creator, go and watch any of them. He's come back. Like I think when you do it as much as they do, and you come back after a break, you get a little reinvigorated. You get a little, like you come back, you're like, okay, it's kind of like a new fresh honeymoon feeling to yourself. Like people say came back and they liked the 1,000-year world, what it was called, 1,000-year blood world arc or whatever it's called, the newest arc for Bleach. People say it's amazing. Yeah, he had a chance to take a break and come back reinvigorated. Like he likes coming back, he probably found it good coming back and drawing and writing and all that stuff. These guys don't get a break. Like, from My Hero Academia, I think I could kind of pinpoint where the series kind of fell off a little bit. It had to have been around when All for One got beaten by All Might in part 1 of season 3. Then they took that. Then every arc after that, like in the anime, I remember it felt like it was just dragging to the end of season 3. Like it was just dragging. And then in season 4, you had it with it was the guy who kidnapped that little girl. And Deku saved her.
Oh yeah, where we get to meet Lemillion and Night Eye.
That arc,
yeah. That was a beautifully animated arc, and that was really. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. Season 3 was real peak material, though. That All for One All Might fight was just great. The All for One entrance, the music, his theme. You can see how badass he is. And then they followed up with the arc with Lemillion, which was pretty good. And then it goes into the
and then it just drags to the end of season 4 with that one character where in the English dub Deku was like, he's the toughest enemy I ever faced, and it's like, didn't you just fight that other dude like 2 episodes ago and he was pretty powerful? Like what? Like he fought that like weird magician guy who could like elevate like metal or whatever, and like I was like, why is he struggling with this guy? And then I hadn't finished watching the anime, but I was caught up in I think the war arc brings it back. The war arc is very, very good. And I think after that, My Hero has a problem with peaking and then dragging and peaking and then dragging. And you could tell the creator wanted to basically wrap the series up with that second movie. He wanted that to be the ending. That was supposed to be the original ending. But I think maybe he was like, I don't want to end the series off on this note because there's a lot of unresolved, issues that need to be tied up. But then he should have just did a third movie and just wrapped it all up then, but I don't know.
Well, you have to he's concentrating on the manga because the manga is where all this material's coming from, and
that's why we're all also the money's at too. Yeah,
he's working on it so fast that unless you have a really strong vision of beginning, middle, and end, if you're kind of figuring this out as you go, which is another creative way to do it. You don't really know where the ending's at, but you know the direction you want to go in. Then you run into problems where you make decisions because he is on a deadline. And those decisions, when he looks back at it, might not be the best. I look back at my first comic book and I want to redo it all the time because I wasn't that good at stuff and I didn't realize. And now I can structure a story better. So I'm interested to see what he does next. Like, what's his next project? Because My Hero had a lot of strong points to it, and his artwork is amazing. But it's just he still was learning some lessons, and it'd be interesting to see how he does now after taking the lessons. Like even the Jujutsu Kaisen creator said, was having problems when it came to story wise because they didn't quite know where they wanted to go. Because like my Jujutsu Kaisen feels like it ends and there's a missing volumes of story because
Mm.
it jumps from at the end of the Shibuya arc to the ending. It does all these like little time jumps, and it really kind of sours the ending fight. And also they had a power level problem because like the Gojo, the main is not the main character, but Gojo is the strongest hero in
Mhm.
that. So before even Itadori could become anything of a level, we're already at the ending of the story. So it was kind of almost felt rushed, but it was better. It was held together better than what My Hero did. My Hero was
Mhm.
kind of like throwing darts at a wall of ideas there by the end because there was just some terrible choices made.
He's
And
gonna, you know what's crazy? He's gonna come out years from now in many interviews and outlets and say how much he regrets certain decisions he made. He has to be, because there's no way a creator like him, from what we already know, somewhere down the line, maybe it was family issues, maybe he had a personal relationship fall apart with like a wife or a girlfriend. Something happened to the point where you felt it pretty much after season 3. It just kind of went in this peak drop area. It peaked really hard back in the war arc in the manga. Then it just kind of goes into
yeah,
that up and down, the up and downness again. Then it got to a point where it was shit. They were constantly leading up to that Todoroki, and he was fighting his brother. And it's like, oh, okay, this is like kind of cool. Then it gets to the ending, and you're like, I just don't know what happened to him. Maybe something happened. Somebody's gonna come
well,
out
like
where this guy.
he really did what's his name, Higurashi, the guy with the face, he really did him terrible um when he was doing this doing the ending there, because they almost set up like a redemption arc for him. It's like, okay, you were
That's what they were leading to.
manipulated.
It feels like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you were given this power by one for all for one. Your parents were kind of, are assholes because the son was bitter from the mother who was the trainer of All Might. And then I wanted to see Shigaraki fighting All for One for control of his body, but he just gets disintegrated, and then
Yeah,
All for
yeah.
One takes over Shigaraki's body, and then all it takes is this punch from Deku, which we don't even get to really see. And it was just a really rushed, terrible. Like I would have much rather seen Deku keep some form of All for One,
Yeah,
keep his
because I
powers a
remember
bit. I would,
he
or
loses all the powers, right? He
yeah,
loses.
he's powerless at the end, and they have to give him a suit, kind of like what All Might wore, and the suit emulates his his one for all powers. So he's
That was my biggest problem. Is
yeah,
it was starting the series, you think like, oh, he's gonna end up being like All Might for his generation of heroes, and to have him lose his powers is like, why can't we have that feel good ending? Like the series implicitly stated through a lot of what he was saying, he wanted to be like All Might,
yeah.
right?
We should have
The-
had at least 4 chapters of material showing us adult Deku and the world now after that. So like
Mhm.
we should have seen adult Deku. If fine, you want to give him a mechanical suit like an Iron Man, that's fine. But I'd like to see him take down a villain and have a couple chapters of seeing the prologue of the story instead of like this really one rush chapter. And because so many people complained, he made another chapter to try to clear up a
oh
bit
yeah,
what
yeah.
was going on, because the original ending was
Yeah,
like
that epilogue
Uravity.
ending, that
Yeah,
epilogue
like,
ending only came after amount of backlash came for that
well, the original ending,
ending.
like he was a teacher and everyone didn't talk to him anymore. Like he hadn't talked. It was like 10 years later, and he hadn't talked to Uravity, Bakugo. Like none of the students talked to. They're all like, "Well, you're powerless now, nerd. Go away." So now he's like a teacher at UA, and no one talks to him. It was so sad. And then the guy's like, okay, fine, I'll write some more stuff. And look, it kind of looks like Uravity and him are together. It's like, well, just show them holding hands or something. Jesus.
Good God. Uh, Great Poupe says, "Hey, sorry, second monitor situation. Wasn't looking at the chat. I'm only here for one in the chat. Oh my God. Good Lord.
It happens.
Good God. God.
I'm the draw.
See, that's the problem. See, this is why we gotta have more anime season reviews and more manga reviews because I love talking about anime. It's just My Hero Academia. I love it so much. People know the backgrounds never changed because I love that first volume with that image just so damn good. And hey, volume 42, it's a nice homage to the first volume where it's Deku instead of All Might on there, and it's just damn, just to see like I hate when shows do that. I really hate when any anime or TV show does that, where they set up this narrative from the beginning with the main character and they don't give them that payoff they've been working for. It's like having a mechanical suit is, to me, was just, that's such a cop out. Let him keep his fucking powers. Why can't he keep them? You spend the entire show discovering them, learning how they work, just to have them not there. It just feels like such a cop out. I really, truly hate that. Because it feels like you were building to something and you just didn't give me what I want. And people could be like, but that doesn't that make you entitled? Yes. Yeah, I invested God knows fucking how long into this show. I would like a decent payoff. But fuck me, right? My wife does that a lot. But
well, I would have liked to seen, like, I was hoping for, like, we get a redemption arc for Shigaraki, and then maybe even at the end of it, like, he gives Deku, like, he has full control of All for One, and he's now redeemed, and maybe just gives Deku One for All back again or something. Something along those lines, instead of what we got, which was just, it was really rushed and lame.
All right. Now we're going to be getting to we're going to be getting to the actual topic of the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our conversation. Top G's like me usually facilitate all the Riz around here, No.
I hope you guys enjoy my colorful and intellectual commentary.
Oh, goodness gracious. So speaking about shitting on the comic book industry, I don't know if people consider the manga industry the comic book industry. I don't. I think they're two totally different beasts, honestly.
So yeah, I'm the ones where they're the same. It's just one's Japanese and one's American.
What are you, Wong Ching Chong? Oh, God.
What the fuck did you just...
I remember, dude, I remember today, I'm going to release that Tylenol video where I called most women morons.
Oh, good, yeah.
I remember at some point in the video, Gray asked me something and I answered, but then I also told him, hey, yeah, man, currently I'm taking Vagisil and I'm currently growing 3 vaginas. He was like,
you did.
He paused and he was like, what the fuck did you say to me?
You were, at one point you said you were eating Vagisil, and I had to remind you that that's not how you apply Vagisil.
Just imagine, guys, if I start growing 3 vaginas, it's because I was drinking Vagisil. If he kept his powers, what's the hero sacrifice? I actually think him being able to beat the villain and keeping his powers is the easy cop-out ending. Well, just the way, because he wanted to be a hero. He wanted to be like All Might, being a hero like that. I think being in an image of All Might to honor him with his powers at the end would be better, because remember, All Might also chose him as a successor. He chose him. Like I just, that's how I see it. Because like, I don't know. Have you guys ever wondered? Like, it's like if a girl chose you to have sex with her, and you go, and then after that you have sex with her sister.
Huh? What? How is it like that? No, I mean, Walter's making a good point.
That is also untrue.
The problem is that it's not the problem with the ending isn't that he lost his powers. It's just the way the whole ending was handled. Like, if he's going to lose his powers, which it does kind of reflect back to the beginning. And it's also like a hero. It's not about the powers. A hero is about the actions and doing heroic deeds. Mm-hmm. So he is that hero. He did save the day. He's the number one hero. But at the end, he's quirkless. So he doesn't get to be a hero anymore, which was kind of what was going to happen until the fans freaked out. And then they gave him the suit at the very, very end. We don't get to see him in the action of the suit at all. So, it's I mean, he didn't even lose his powers right away. It was like he lost his powers, and then but he kept him around long enough for story plot until he was eventually completely quirkless. The execution was just flat. Like we should have seen. It should have been, if the point of it is to show the sacrifice, then you need to have a better representation of that sacrifice and of him losing his powers. It's like we weren't sure that he lost his powers until, because like there was that part where he's chasing after Uravity when she's freaking out about Toga, and it was like, he was using his powers there, but it's almost like, well, we're going to let you have your powers long enough for the story, and then we're just going to take him away. So it's like trying to figure it out. I would have much rather him been completely powerless right there at the end, or completely powerless and him believing in the redemption of Shigaraki helps Shigaraki beat back All For One's personality enough in order to defeat the ending. Almost kind of like how the Thunderbolts beat Sentry. They beat him with the power of friendship. Maybe like Deku uses hope to beat Shigaraki, or to beat All For One by helping Shigaraki defend himself or to redeem himself. Instead, it was just poof, Shigaraki's gone. And then now Deku punches All Might, and he kind of has his powers until he just doesn't have his powers. Yeah, it just didn't work out. But yeah, let's get to the video before we hear for 2 hours.
Oh God, yeah. Also season 2. Season 2 starts off with that amazing arc where they're in that tournament or whatever. Then you get that villain that everyone likes, the one who was he's like the Joker. He wanted to kill villains or whatever because he thought he wanted to kill heroes. Oh my God, I forgot his name. Stained. Yeah. And then it went from Stained to like, well, the other villains that you're kind of building up just aren't as interesting. And then they did later on build them up, like with that one girl, that one guy who could like, fucking hell, the guy who's wearing the mask, fucking hell. He was a cool character later on. Like, I remember it took a while for those League of Villains to really pop off. It's like just the pacing started getting like all sorts of out of whack,
Yeah, it wasn't really until it wasn't really to the war arc that they really showed
really all got
their
like,
muscles. Yeah.
And
so the way State was taken out, that wasn't cool. Like All For One essentially just splatted him like a fly on the side of a building. Like
Orange Adventure says he's got the wine, got the weed, all the W's.
Hells yeah, Orange Adventure.
Stain, if what it tastes like was a character. Yeah, like I think season 1 was pretty solid. But
that's so good though.
Season 2 was, the beginning of it was really, really cool. That Deku Todoroki fight was really, really cool. And what's awesome about My Hero Academia when that fight happened is you expect Deku to win because main character syndrome and plot armor bullshit. But Todoroki wins, and you're like, yes, that's how it should go. Like Deku was supposed to win there because, well, he's just not strong enough. That's just how it should go. Because most animes would have just went main character wins because main character should win. No, I liked it where like the villains were stronger most of the time because it actually gave like obstacles for them to really overcome. Like, in some anime, like certain characters are just straight up holding back because they don't want to actually go all out because they're like, oh, I can't do it because of reasons. No, My Hero Academia, those characters are actually pretty fucking weak. Like Sakura probably would just beat the shit out of most of them. But then again, it's Sakura. I don't have trust in that bitch at all because she sucks ass. And I hate her. I remember back in the day, if you said you hated Sakura, you're a misogynist. I'll be proud. Sakura sucks ass. Sakura is a shit character. I fucking hate her. And she has peak hair. Huh. All right, so let's go. Oh, hold on. Give me one sec. And we have it right here. All right, time for a big old giant butt fuck tonight. You guys will never get over because the impact of me being hot, rich, and good looking will always make you guys happy. No?
No.
Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about DC Comics cancels Green Arrow ongoing series. So Green Arrow is a character that I first saw appear in, I think, was Justice League animated series or Justice League Unlimited. And I really liked the character. But it's pretty cool. And then after that, I tried to watch. Wait a minute. Oh my God. Hold on. My brain just fried. You guys don't know me. I'm black.
Hey, look at that! Look at that! No shit!
All right, my brain wasn't there, but Warren's
You're
here.
doing so well.
I was doing terrible. Don't you lie to me. This is entertainment for everyone. Okay. I'll be serious here. I have to entertain you guys. I am not a crazy person. Oh my God. I'm not a crazy person. I'm not a crazy person at all. But, all right, let's have some fun. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about DC Comics cancels Green Arrow ongoing series. So the very first time I saw the character Green Arrow was in, I think it was Justice League, the animated series, or Justice League Unlimited. And then after that, I didn't see the character anymore until the CW was actually starting to air Arrow season 1. And what's really funny about that show is it's never actually called Green Arrow ever in its syndicated form. It was only just called Arrow. And I tried watching Arrow, a few episodes in season 1. I just couldn't really get into it. I think there was a few decent episodes in season 1, but I was like, this is not my style because that's not Oliver to me. You know what I mean? Like, I know people like that show to a certain extent until it falls off the fucking rails, like a lot of those CW DC shows did at some point. But that's not Oliver. That's not Green Arrow. He's literally just Batman.
Well, that was the problem with that show, was that it was essentially like a Batman show, but they had to make it Green Arrow.
Remember the first 6 episodes? They had like, I think he had one of his villains, which was Dark Arrow, in one of the episodes, and then he had Deathstroke, he had the Suicide Squad, he had Harley Quinn, he had and Ra's al Ghul. And I'm not saying that certain villains can't intermingle in other characters' rogues galleries. I mean, famously, Kingpin can be a Daredevil villain, can also be a Spider-Man villain. I'm not saying villains can't intermingle with each other, but the fact that people really gravitate toward that Arrow show, it's like, that's really not him. It's actually a very bad interpretation of who Oliver really is, honestly.
It wasn't a terrible show, though. Like, they tried their best, and they did pretty good with what they had. Because I enjoyed it myself. I stopped watching after like season 3. Well, season 3 was when they introduced the Flash. And I really enjoyed the Flash. I thought that was, even though really good. The special effects weren't always great, they did a really good job with that show.
Season 1 of the Flash is, in my opinion, the best superhero TV season ever. I think that's first season is just outright, just straight 10 out of 10 material.
They did with what they had, they did a really good job. Like, Jessica Grant was great. They did a good job with with the villains, the powers. Now, the running scenes didn't look great, but it's not easy making Flash look really good,
especially on the budget that they had.
Especially on the budget. But yeah, they did a good job. It was tongue in cheek sometimes, because I remember when Arrow started, they had a firm no powers rule, and then it was like around the 3rd season where they introduced Barry Allen.
Typical DC, where they say they're not going to do something, then eventually they cave in and do it anyway.
I don't know. Yeah, and it gets.
Oh, dude, do you remember the Black Canary bullshit where she went to a karate dojo one day and then just learned everything and then just started fighting? I was like, what the fuck? I was like, all right. And then what's crazy is what you said is true. Warner Brothers always wanted to do like a Batman TV series, which is crazy because Fox had Gotham. That's a different story for another day. But they wanted that Arrow show to be like Batman. And then, throughout that history of those shows, they didn't have other characters. So like other characters would be the main character. So like Batman would be Oliver, Supergirl would be Superman. And then you had other characters so they couldn't have Batman at one point. So they had Batwoman do it. And it's like, and you had those issues with that. And I think when you have a show like Arrow kind of misrepresent who a character is, then people just think that's who the character is because people aren't going to read comic books. This is just not going to happen. They will not read comic books, right? So people just think that is Oliver. So if you were to go read Green Arrow comic books, you would think like, well, why isn't he like this from the show? Because this is the key, guys. They misrepresented the character in the show. The show is actually a clear misrepresentation of who the character is. You know, people said, but the wisecracking won't work. What is this thing with people? Why can't wisecracking work? Do you just want to live in a life full of no humor? The character cracks jokes. I don't know why that was a bad thing. I don't know why
that's the thing about Ollie. Ollie's kind of like Bruce. They both have a tragedy that happened to them, but Ollie's much more of a flamboyant, rich guy, philanthropist. Like he's real big in environmental. He's big anti-government, kind of almost like a conspiracy theory kind of guy. So it would have been interesting to see that side of him. But DC for a long time thought that they couldn't have two versions like of the same character at the same time. Like people would get confused.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until they introduced Superman in those CW shows that they finally said, we're going to allow you guys to have a Superman while we have a Superman.
It was the person that was running the CW. It was Mark Pedowitz. What a fucking name. Good Lord. I mean, that's his actual name. It was Mark Pedowitz. He had said that he didn't want to have two different versions. He didn't want to have the TV version be in the movie version because he felt like that would confuse people. What do you mean? That's a natural way of conversion. If I like Grant Gustin's Barry Allen, it'd only be really cool if I could just see Grant Gustin's Barry Allen with the Justice League on screen. Unless he was thinking this is so much different from the movies, then it wouldn't work. But I think it's just their way of looking down on TVs to movies.
Well, and they want to, if you're going to do a Flash movie, you want to draw. So you want to get an actor who's going to be a big name. Justin Grant, even though I do like him, he's not that big name. So studios don't want to put $200 million behind a movie with a TV actor that not many people know, even though the fans kind of enjoy him.
Right.
I think they should have they underestimate the fans' ability to have a Ben Affleck Batman in Justice League and then have a Batman on TV. Like we fans will have no problem with two Batman being around at the same time. It won't get that confusing. Like even James Gunn is said that their Batman, the DCU Brave and the Bold Batman, will not have a movie at the same year as a Robert Pattinson Batman. So we're not going to get a DCU Batman until at least 2028 because Batman 2 comes out 2027. So unless they cast Batman and he shows up in one of the 2026 properties, like in an after credit scene or something along those lines, then we're not going to see Batman until that time period. So I don't see any problem with it. I don't think fans, especially with the fans that are going to be watching the TV part, I don't think they're going to have any problem with two Batmen. I mean, we did have another Batman at the time period where they were doing the Teen Titans live action because they actually casted a Batman.
But then again, people didn't really watch that to begin with. So it's one of those, like, if not enough people watch it, it can't confuse people that it's not going to have a super impact on. And the thing that you brought up earlier as we go into Green Arrow is going over comic books. I want you to understand how that can kind of happen where you watch a show, and that's who you think the character is. Why would that not translate to comic books? So people said, but he had a long running TV series. Why did that not translate? Well, let's just put, as we just said earlier in this video, if you read Green Arrow comic books from having discovered him through that show, you'd probably go, that's not who he is here. So there's a good chance a lot of people just went, this is
he's
not
all
who the
wearing
fuck he
bright green with
he's all bright, he's cracking jokes, he's on a motorcycle,
Robin Hood hat and shit. And he doesn't even have a hood. Like you just like, what the fuck is this?
It's crazy that show. He's not even called Green Arrow until like season 5, and it's like, oh my god, what the fuck? But so Green Arrow has had a lot of comic book runs written by a lot of legendary people in the comic book industry, and then we had a new Green Arrow run start with Dawn of DC with Joshua Williamson, who's worked on Superman. He was at the same time working on Cobra Commander, Duke. He was doing so much shit at the one time. He was doing Batman and Robin. So Joshua Williamson, I understand why they kind of took him off the book, or he wanted to leave because he was doing so much. Guys, go and look at what Joshua Williamson was doing around the same time that Green Arrow book was starting. This guy was probably on every single series. And then when DC All In, the initiative started, they got a new people on. Because remember, with DC All In, they swapped the creative teams and they got new creative teams for people for certain books. So Green Arrow got a new creative team. And then it was announced that DC Comics canceled the current ongoing Green Arrow comic series. So I want a lot of people to actually understand this. This is how comic book sales work. So you have 3 parts to this. You have publisher. So let's just say Warren's Marvel. Let's say I'm DC because we're the publisher. So we are going to get paid no matter what, okay? So just keep that in mind. I want you guys to really put a check mark in your brain about that, okay? So after that, what do you guys think goes next? You guys probably think, oh, well, Marvel and DC just kind of ships that product to their comic book shops and then they sell it and then Marvel and DC makes a profit and the store makes... No. None of that works that way. You guys probably will. Well, yes, I'm going to explain how it works to you. So me and him are both Marvel and DC, okay? You know who's next? The distributor. You know who's after that? The retailer. The retailer would be your comic book shop owner. Okay, that's the retailer, right? So you guys really aren't even the customers, honestly. You know who the actual customer is? The comic book shop owners. Those are the customers because they're the ones buying the books in advance, putting money up front. Then the distributor puts in those, gets the amount of orders, and then Marvel and DC makes the books. And then obviously the books get, the distributor ships the books out to the comic book shop owners, and then you guys buy the books after they get them. So you're the 4th person that gets the book. You buying a single issue of something technically does nothing because the books are already paid for. Those books you get on New Comic Book Wednesday are already paid for. They were paid for in advance. You giving your comic book shop, let's say $10 for 2 of your books, doesn't affect jack shit because Marvel and DC, do you know who also gets paid up front? Like I mentioned earlier, Marvel and DC, they already get paid up front. The reason why they don't change shit is because they already get paid up front. Why would they change anything? They're already going to get paid no matter what, But they should do. I'm just saying there's a reason why they don't do it, So there has to be enough people buying these comic book issues whenever the new issues drop. Because keep in mind, so as Warren would know this because he's an indie comic creator, so Green Arrow #1 sold very, very well. And it was originally said from Joshua Williamson, this was going to be a mini-series. Like that gets announced for most comic book series these days. They get announced as a mini-series, and then they say, well, if it sells very well, it turns into an ongoing. Well, it did sell very well up to a point where it turned into an ongoing series. But then, as you guys have to know this, when comic book issues for certain runs go past, like, I'm going to say issue 5 these days, that's when the numbers start tanking off the face of the earth, or falling off the face of the earth, falling off the face of a cliff, whatever lingo language you want to use. Because issue 1 draws people in. Then issues 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bring in the consistency. They're going to be lower than issue 1. That will happen. But your goal is to keep a consistent amount of people buying the issues week in, week out, whenever you drop a new one. And the reason why series gets canceled is not because they're not good or bad. It's because the sales are so unbelievably bad that just constantly keeping it going when paying all the people involved would be a net loss for the company. Now, people are going to say, but there's other bad series that keep going. They might actually just have sales. That might be the harsh pill to swallow. Is bad series you think are bad? I'm not saying they're not bad, but if they are constant money makers, they keep them going because, as people always say, money never lies. What's the saying? Numbers don't lie. Money means everything.
If they're getting the orders for them, then they're going to keep going. That's the thing too. Like, just because you and me might think something's terrible doesn't mean that a majority of people or enough to keep it going don't like it. So if a bunch of people like it, boom,
Yeah. And this is the other thing that comes with these series is, I'm not trying to be mean here. Actually, I am, because, I tell it like it is. And people are like, you're too mean. I don't give a fuck. Because people lie so much, and I can tell when you're lying. So I have actually bought this Green Arrow series in trade. I actually own the first... I think I own all 3 trades so far. So I'm going to actually get the 4th volume very soon. And I'm talking about myself here, too. So I know people are going to be like, well, I'll just get it in trade. Do you guys know how a series goes to trade? It'll automatically go to trade depending on what series. That'll always happen. But do you know how it can live long in trades? there would have to be enough people buying the single issues when it is going. You don't get these big omnibuses, these epic collections, these deluxe oversized hardcovers without buying the single books. You have to buy the single books to keep this stuff going and going and going. Now, keep in mind, cancellations will always happen. That's always going to be a thing. But you can minimize cancellations by actually supporting. So I'm not saying don't buy digitally, but there are people that'll go, I'll just pirate this book. Oh, damn, I really like this book. Okay, having money issues, put that aside. If you like it a lot, buy it physically, because that is what matters. You don't get long-running series anymore because a lot of people do not buy the books. They pirate them. Pirating books will not keep them alive. I'm just being honest here. And for people to say, oh, I read the book. No, I'll be honest, you probably didn't read the book. I'm not saying it was bad. People said it was really good. I'm not saying no one did or didn't do anything. But my thing is, where were all these people that apparently bought the book? You weren't there, So either you didn't buy the book and you pirated it, or you simply just are lying and you just never bought the book in general. You're just lying about liking the series in general. That could happen too, because there's a lot of fake comic book fans out there. So I'm just telling people, you can wait for trade all you want, but there are some series you definitely should buy when they're ongoing. I do my best. I can't buy every single series. I try to make sure I buy enough to the point where at least I'm putting money into the circulation that certain series can live on. And I get it. People have money issues these days. But then again, if you're not someone that has money issues and you like this series, then why would you wait for trade? But then again, you can either choose to read something in more of a collected edition format, or you can read it when it's ongoing. I'm not saying either or is wrong. That's your personal approach. But don't be surprised when series gets canceled, because the only way to keep a series going is to buy the books repeatedly. People say, I don't like Mark Waid, but Mark Waid typically has people that like his books, and World's Finest is still going. World's Finest has more issues than this. World's Finest is like on issue 38, 39 right now. So I'm just saying, if you like a book so much, you might want to start purchasing them. I'm just saying, like, this stuff doesn't, this is not a charity. You know what I mean? We can't be doing that thing of like, oh, well, I'll just wait. I mean, not every series can wait till trade. And so I'll ask you this too. Do you know how there's those takes where people say, back in the day, like B and C list characters can get like 50 plus issues? Guys, I want you to understand this too. We don't live in back in the day. We live in the current day and age where comic book sales are down. And I get it. DC's doing utterly phenomenal with the Absolute Universe, and they're doing very well with that. And Marvel is doing somewhat still relatively well with their Ultimate Universe, which is just Spider-Man, if we're being completely honest here, and Wolverine and the Ultimates, right? Keep in mind, those are just alternate universes which would act as pillars for the industry, right? So DC's only way of selling books to you is just in an alternate universe format. So is Marvel's. So because Marvel's alternate universe is ending, I don't think DC's ending anytime soon, because the sales are really, really good there, right? This is the problem here. Ultimate universes are carrying the brands.
Well, they're not burdened by canon, which is a problem that we've talked about before. If you have to go write Batman and you have a choice to write Batman regular ongoing, so you have to fit an interesting Batman story in a sea of canon that's been damn near everything you can do with the character done, or they're like Scott Snyder and they're like, create us an absolute Elseworld type story. We want something different, and then you get to have fun. Then you get to write Batman, but then write Batman without the burden of
basically no restraints.
88 years of other people writing them and then burning you down with all that. You can start doing all these different envisions, and that's usually why those do better, because in order to do that, you usually have to have a strong understanding of the character, because you want to make it feel like the character, but then doing something different. Right. And also, you get to have more fun, so it becomes something new for people to read. It's easy to get into because I know where number one is. Like right now, if you read Batman number one, it's still immense in that ocean of canon, and it's kind of a weird starting point. It's like Alfred's dead.
We'll use an example here. So there was a brand new Batman number one that just started with Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez, where, as you guys know, or if you didn't know, the spoiler alert, Alfred died in the City of Bane arc in Tom King's Batman run. So if you're so accustomed to seeing Alfred a part of Batman because he's just kind of synonymous with Batman, well, Alfred's dead. So if you were to read Batman number one right now, Alfred is dead. He's just in a Jarvis format for a character. It's like you're gonna go like, what the fuck? I love Alfred. Why is he dead?
Imagine the only Batman you've seen is Christopher Nolan. Then you go in to read Batman, and Bane is like a Spanish guy. Alfred's dead. It's like the Joker's running around. There's a crocodile man in the sewer. One guy is like shoots out ice out of a ray gun. It's like it's almost like with the whole Green Arrow thing. It's like if you watch the Arrow and then picked up a comic, like who is this Arrow Flynn Robin Hood looking motherfucker in like fluorescent green with boxing arrows? Where's the dark brooding guy from the TV series? So
also shout outs to Justin Hartley. He was Green Arrow in Smallville.
Oh yes, and he was
him,
even more. That was more accurate to the real Green Arrow.
Yeah, he actually wore the suit. He actually quipped and everything.
Yeah, he quipped, and he was like kind of that flamboyant billionaire, and he was like that more really like Bruce puts on a facade of a flamboyant billionaire. All he is kind of. So that was a really good job on that. Even though, but yeah, with Arrow, I don't blame him, but the CW Arrow was just
I feel like Smallville did him good, but I feel like throughout later in the show's history, I know you watched the rest of it, I feel like he never had that big of an impact later on in the show as when he first started. But this is another thing to bring up with comic books, which is, I was watching a Thinking Critical video recently where on the ICV2 charts, we go over them here sometimes in like on the shows. It just only shows you 50. Well, actually, guys, there's actually 100. You have to pay on their website to see the rest of them. Apparently, DC actually has a lot of books that are not doing well as much as their absolute universe. So, like some non-absolute titles do well, like J-Land Unlimited, Batman World's Finest. God forbid Tom King's Wonder Woman does well. Fuck me, right? So, did DC sacrifice their main timeline for their alternate universe? Because this whole Summer of Superman initiative, a lot of the titles after issue 1 just plummet, So a lot of the DC's main universe titles, from what Thinking Critical has pointed out in his video, they're actually like doing not as good. They're like hovering in the 60s to 70s and just languishing. So coming up in a little bit here, DC Comics announced they're doing an absolute Green Arrow book. So I hope this never becomes a constant trend for DC where if a character in the main universe is doing bad, they're just going to reboot their character or just take their book off and then give them an absolute version, and they think that will actually get them better sales. So we would just be relying on the absolute universe to revitalize the character because the main universe's version is just not selling enough. Like, because they're going to do an absolute Hawkman. They're going to do an absolute Green Arrow. Green Arrow's supposed to come out next year, I think in spring. It's going to be a minute before it comes out. But, like, is that where DC goes? This character can't sell. Let's take off the Justice League. And then now let's do an
Green
absolute
Arrow.
Justice League. Yeah.
You cancel Green Arrow. You allow the dust to settle. Absolute Green Arrow comes out, and they kind of do a different spin on it.
Sells very well.
Let's say it sells really well. Then you can kind of pick a new creative team, and then maybe 2 years from now, bring him back in with a new direction, maybe a new look, and maybe a reinvention, and try to get him popular again. DC might be, if this absolute universe, like we've seen the absolute universe on those charts, both graphic novel and in regular comic, doing very well. We might see where DC puts more concentration on the absolute universe and starts liquidating some of these other titles like Green Arrow, which is not a huge character for
which is
DC.
so sad. Yeah, I like Green Arrow a lot, but he's just not as huge as some of the other guys, which is crazy because he's been a founding member of the Justice League. He's been on a lot of teams. He has his own Arrow family.
Yeah, he's not a bad character. It's just he needs a good writing team.
Yeah.
He needs a good writer and artist, and he needs, and I talked about this before when on one of the other episodes is they need to do more of a reset. They need to clean up some of these titles, and they need to kind of give
I was just saying consolidate the titles, like
Yeah.
because apparently, okay, so Marvel puts out like 80 books, DC apparently puts out like 50 to 60. Do you really need, just saying DC because they've been doing very well recently? Do you need 50 books? Do you need 50 books? That is fucking
Yeah.
insane. Like,
Well, like
I can guarantee
half of
you
those
can
are
knock that.
Batman books, so it's like
Yeah, like that's the thing is there could probably be more sales for certain characters if you knock some of those books down. I'm just pointing out, if you lessen the amount of books you have, then there's more money that's able to be circulated amongst all the other books, right? Because everyone is fighting for, so you have Batman, then you got Superman, then you got Justice League, then you have Green Lantern, Flash, those two right there, because Wonder Woman doesn't sell as well as the ones I just said. And then you have like basically fucking hell, everyone else, honestly. So everyone is fighting for scraps next to Batman, at least before. Batman's got like 14 books going on. Batman has another. So they put out 2 Batman Black Label titles. Batman the First Night, they're calling it the Second Night. This is a new arc. Then you have Immortal Rising Batman, or Immortal Batman with Kyle Higgins, right? So many Batman books going on.
that one's like some kind of futuristic space adventure. I saw Laps's review of it
I
on
actually
his
bought
video. Yeah, and I want to buy it now because the artwork is sick.
It does look pretty cool. I like, yeah.
And the storyline is kind of interesting. It's kind of, I like these kind of different takes on stuff. I like the Elseworld Absolute, the Immortal stuff where it's like, give me a fresh version of this character in a new world, and let's breathe some life and have a new starting point. I'm all for it myself. I think we should ditch canon and start making more self-contained stories that you can turn into omnibuses or graphic novels later. But essentially it's like, I want to see a Batman story that I don't have to go buy 26 other comic books that aren't Batman in order to know what's going on in Batman. Like Marvel needs to stop doing that too. It's like, they need to stop doing these all encompassing arcs where it's like, you go through the Marvel section of the comic shop and it's like, the Venom arc or the Hammer arc or the,
like, dude, like how many Venom wars in Marvel have we had? I've been heard of Venom wars forever. Like how many?
Well, yeah, we don't need 26 Wolverine books.
Yes, we do.
Yes,
we do. One of DC Comics' most endearing heroes is about to lose his long-running solo series, and the reason is absolutely soul-crushing. Per Comic Book Club Live, DC Comics Green Arrow by writer Chris Condon, and the guy that originally had the book in Dawn of DC was Joshua Williamson, and artist Montos will be coming to an early end this December with the release of issue 31. And I will say this here, getting an ongoing series to 31 issues in this current climate in the comic book industry is absolutely insane. DC at least will get your books up to like 24 issues minimum sometimes if the sales are there, right? Marvel is just capping your shit out at 10, 12, maybe, honestly. While DC Comics has not yet issued any official statement, they won't because they're fucking cowards sometimes, regarding the series cancellation, fan favorite writer Scott Snyder offered an explanation on Twitter. Says, and I quote, "Decisions like these are above my pay grade, but the honest reason is that not enough of us were buying it," Snyder wrote. "The sales numbers on Green Arrow were just unsustainable. It's disappointing to everyone, but keeping it going means not being able to take other chances." So this is another thing the comic book industry is just propped up on. This has been my biggest problem with a lot of things. Gimmicks, right? Variant cover schemes, blind bags, and all that other gay shit, right? Like, when they said Batman #1 sold 500K orders, whenever you guys see those numbers, right? Highest selling comic books and all that stuff, you must keep this in your mind. That is not someone walking into a shop and just buying that book. That is shops ordering that stuff, okay? So when you have all these orders come through, whenever you see sales on books, it's always shops doing it. It's not people walking in there and doing that. Now, they could have, now those numbers are different, right? So I want people to truly understand that, though, just because there's a big difference there. Green Arrow writer Chris Condon also addressed the series cancellation on social media, writing via his Blue Sky account. Issue 31 of Green Arrow will be my final issue on the title. It's been fantastic to work with Montos, Buddy, Haas, Adriano, and Chris Rosa on the book. More than that, it's been a dream to work on a character like Ollie for DC Comics. I'm bummed we have to end things here. The current 7th volume of Green Arrow kicked off in 2023 with a creative team consisting of writer Joshua Williamson and artist Sean Izaki. Early on in the series run, Green Arrow revolved around the long-awaited reunion of the hero and his vast family, replete with fellow superheroes and vigilantes. Early issues placed a particular focus on the return of Leon Harper, better known as Chershi Cat. Good Lord, these names. The
Cheshire
Cat. The daughter of Roy Harper and Jade Nguyen. Jay Nguyen, who was
Jade
Nguyen.
Good Lord.
Also believed to be dead for years due to the machinations of none other than Amanda Waller. Also, Green Arrow was a big plot point for Absolute Power 2, which you guys can see in that review me and Last Comic Fan did on the comic book channel that this video is going to, which you guys have already seen on here. So make sure you guys subscribe if you're watching this far into the video. The official solicitation synopsis for Green Arrow issue 31 from DC Comics reads, trouble in the family after an explosive domestic squabble between a working father and a teenage daughter boils into the streets. The Emerald Archer must reckon with his past choices and experiences in order to provide a path forward for the two and himself. Fortunately for fans of the Emerald Archer, another version of the Green Arrow will be making his comic book debut just as his primary iteration solo series comes to an end. In early September, it was confirmed that the Absolute Green Arrow will be introduced in the upcoming Absolute Evil #1, written by Al Ewing and illustrated by artist Giuseppe Camunocoli. What a name that is!
Yeah, quit hiring freaking cheap-ass foreigners, DC, damn it.
God, Giuseppe Camuncoli and Stefano Nessi. Absolute Evil #1 will see numerous major villains from across the Absolute Universe line of titles come together for the very first time. Among the villains set to unite in Absolute Evil #1 are Ra's al Ghul, Veronica Cale, Hector Hamon, Eleanor Dawn, and the Joker. To top things off, the Absolute Hawkman will also be making his comic book debut in Absolute Evil #1, promising readers yet another brutalist version of one of their favorite heroes who will almost certainly help reshape the very face of the Absolute Universe itself. Green Arrow issue 31 goes on sale December 24th from DC Comics. So this goes on sale, what, Thanksgiving? Wait a minute, new comic book Wednesdays on Thanksgiving this year? That's crazy. All right. But see, another character, Hawkman. DC is constantly going to do this to reinvigorate a character's image or to kind of get people to like the character or put them back into the zeitgeist, as people say. They're going to give characters more absolute versions to sell you on the character. So it triggers people to go and go, okay, where do I start reading Hawkman at? Damn. I mean, I guess if they want to use the Absolute Universe in that case, go ahead. But that just goes to show you that nobody cares about the main universe. It's just like, does it have an absolute version? Because I can just start at a #1 on that. So then Scott Snyder had another few tweets I wanted to go over, which was this one that I bookmarked, which is, we all assume if a series is critically well received or gets awards, it's a high seller, but the opposite can be true. This is why I've been saying movies, TV shows, anime, video games, awards don't mean jack shit. Awards don't mean nothing. The only, like, if you're a creator on the project, getting an award is fine. I'm not saying your hard work should not be, somewhat known or anything, but typically in everything that I've liked, I don't need someone to say like, well, that won an award for me to be like, yeah, that's really a stamp of approval. I got an award. Like Batman the Animated Series won a Daytime Emmy for that episode with Mr. Freeze. Do I need an award awarded to Batman the Animated Series to kind of prove it's really, really good? I don't think I do, right? In the comic industry is the worst of this. Oh, we have what's the awards for the comic industry? fucking forgot. I forgot the name of it.
Well, you got the Ringo Awards, and then you've got
Eisner.
the Eisner
Awards.
Awards.
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest here. For anyone out there, if the Eisners didn't exist, would you hear about certain comic book runs? You probably will. Like, I'm saying, like, winning an award on anything just doesn't really make or break sales or anything. You know what I mean? Like, none of my favorite shit has to win awards for me to say it's my favorite shit, or for me to like it or dislike it. I truly don't give a fuck, honestly. And like, this stamp of approval, most of these guys in the company industry need. It's like, no, Mom, like Ethan, that fat retarded fucking moron. I was nominated for an Eisner. Who cares? Who literally gives a flying fuck? Oh, you need an award. So without that award, can I just say your art's bad? Was that award just a stamp of approval or something?
I will say, if I ever win an Eisner, that fucker will be right here, and I'm going to mention it every time I say something. As
Lord.
an award-winning comic creator, I believe.
As an award-winning. These guys in the industry and their pats on the back to give themselves. For example, one of my favorite series ever, and in my opinion, one of the best, Gotham Central, was literally one of DC's lower selling books during the period. Yes, so Gotham City Central has been reprinted in omnibus format. It's going to get its own compact comic very soon. A lot of people really like that series, but it didn't sell well back when it was coming out, you know? And that happened with the Spider-Punk. You know that Spider-Punk character from those Spider-Verse movies? That character, absolutely terrible sales. Does very well in trade, you know? Like, some series do better in trade than when they're ongoing. That's why I always told people, look at the comic industry, or just comics in general, like TV. Like, you can choose to watch episodes when they come out, in being right there as they drop, or you can wait until like read them in more of a collected format.
Well, trades also have a better profit margin than floppies.
I imagine they do. Yeah, they have to.
Like, let's say, okay, DC puts out a Batman, and they do a mass production, so they're getting those Batman comic books at $1. The comic book shop will only buy his comic books at 50% of the cover price. So if it's a $5 comic, they want to get it at $2.50, and then they sell it to you for $5. DC sells it to them for like $1.25 or $1 or whatever it works out to be. So yeah, it's when you're doing a graphic novel, you're talking like, for me to do a 200-page graphic novel, it's going to be $7.50 per book because the print run I do. So if I was a DC print run, they're doing like thousands of them. So they're probably getting those graphic novels with the compact books like let's say they're getting about like $3 a piece or maybe even $2. And then they turn around and they sell them for $5, they sell them off to the retailer, and then the retailer gets to sell. It's just a better overall bottom ends for people. Plus, there's people that only buy graphic novels; they won't buy floppies. So
yeah, I know
a whole
people that
market
are
just for graphic novels.
Yeah, I know people that are just omnibus or just collected edition format collectors.
Yeah, like they'll watch the movie and then they go and pick up the Barnes and Noble Spider-Punk graphic novel. So there's a lot of that.
Oh, I mean, I know people don't like John, but he brings up a good point here. Awards mean very little these days, and most of the critics are. Yes, this is very true. It's very true. So even if a series is given award and like a lot of awards, but who really trusts the access media anymore?
Well, like Eisner and Ringo, you have to kiss someo's ass to get.
Yeah, so like CBR,
you have to kiss ass to get Eisner.
So like CBR, Screen Rant, AIPT, Comic Book Resource. CBR, Screen Rant, AIPT, and a lot of these other access media, what IGN and all that stuff. They review comics too. Do you guys need IG's stamp of approval to read a comic book or play a video game? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, this is really, really truthful here. A lot of these people that say some of these books are good literally are paid shills. They don't even buy the books. Do you know I know that? They get PDFs of the books. They get PDFs of these. They're not actually buying these books themselves.
Just like the Disney shills or the Hollywood shills, the kids on TikTok who get to go to the movie premieres early. It's because they say something nice about it, no matter how shitty the movie is.
They start sucking off the company.
Yeah.
They suck off the company to the point where, it would be like if you watched porn and the dick is so far to that girl's esophagus that she can't even see straight anymore. These people suck these companies off so hard that it's just impossible not to give them free shit. It's like, well, damn, fucking hell. Scott Snyder actually retweeted something. He retweeted this post, which was he wanted to clear up something. He said, to be clear, this series lives really well in trade and now is like a perennial seller, thankfully, as it should be. But that era was different. Price point was lower. You could keep things going longer. It's harder these days to go past 12 if a series doesn't have the sales. Yeah, but it also helps when you have name talent on books. I'm not saying that guy's been writing bad since Joshua Williamson left the book. I'm not saying he did. But there's a difference when you have Scott Snyder's name on a there's a difference between having Scott Snyder's name on a book versus like buttfuck nobody random Jill. You know? Like there's a reason why people go to see LeBron James and the Lakers. He's your draw. You need more bigger name draws on these books. You just do, right? Like, would you guys read a comic book series that I was doing, or would you choose a known person? Like, if you just didn't know who I was, you would always pretty much choose the known person because the known name brings in people. But that's a different story than another day. John says, the price point for art really hasn't changed, though, as Marvel and DC have not increased page rates for artists, which is something no one talks about in the industry. It's a sweatshop, just the amount of sales that were low selling than are high selling now. Well, a lot of that's gimmicks. Like, a lot of it's variant cover schemes. A lot of it's blind bags, bullshit.
Well, it's also a good point. The reason why DC and Marvel's in the spot is they don't pay for good artists or writers.
Oh yeah,
they pay shit, so people aren't going to stick around, especially in an era where you can, if you're Marvel or DC level talent, you can go to Image or to one of the other ones and make more per book.
This guy says, question, is there any chance of DC maybe doing these books as just trades instead of releasing individual issues, especially since they do better as trades anyway? I have an even better idea than that. I got a better idea. You guys want to hear it? It's DC already used to do this back in the day, actually years ago. But so do you remember when DC Comics had that deal with Walmart and Target to do those DC 100-page giants? This is what DC Comics needs to do. And this is how you keep these series going, okay? Characters like Green Arrow, any other like Legion, any like B C-list character you think can't sell very well as a ongoing series monthly, this is what you need to do. You take all those characters, 5 of them, put all their books and release them monthly as a DC 100-page giant, have a Batman book, have Batman lead it because people will buy it because it's Batman on there. Have a brand new Batman series start in that, and then have all those other series in there. Then you shave down books. You release a 100-page book, so better page per price count. You can charge like $10 for it. Okay, Batman heads the book.
Like
all the other
Shonen Jump magazine.
Basically
right?
that, yeah. DC used to do this, and they took a lot of their older issues, put them in those 100-page giants, and people bought them. I don't know why they stopped it. Bring back 100-page giants. Have Batman, Superman, or Justice League headline the book with a new story, or the current shit, or any current run from the characters that are you gonna have ongoing, and then you have these other C-list, B-list characters in there as well. There needs to be a different change up in the format. I already know how to fix that. Do that format. I promise you that shit will sell. So
I think that if the graphic novel market gets strong enough, and if the DC compact market is strong, and you're starting to see DC compacts show up in Walmarts, Targets, Fred Meyers, all over the place, DC might get to the point where they're like, well, we're already paying this crew to make a 10-issue arc as it is.
Right.
We might just pay them and then just go directly to graphic novel format just because, or always plan to go to graphic novel. I mean, if you can print the floppies and it still makes some money, then make your money. But they might be planning to go specifically to graphic novel. And that's just hiring the teams to do it. It's like, I'm hiring you guys to do volume 1 of the Green Lantern or Green Arrow, and I want, let's say, 120 pages, and then they do the stories in those kind of formats. Because the way things are, there's 2 things that are affecting the market right now. Availability, because it's easier to find the Green Arrow compact in Target than it is to try to find the individual issues, because those are in a comic book shop. And some people, like myself, the comic shop I go to is 25 minutes away driving. So, it's not easily accessible. If those green arrows were on a spinner rack or some kind of rack in Safeway, would or Target, would they be being picked up more? And it's also, the second is economy. I can pick up 120 pages of a complete arc for $10, or I can pick up 10 issues of Green Arrow for $5 a piece.
Yeah, and that's why I said, if you have that DC 100-page giant concept of an idea come back, that means these other characters, you shave down how many books you have to print with all these other B-C-list characters that can't sell past like 30 issues, and then they get to live longer next to Batman and Superman, who can help them sell well. I don't know why they don't change up how their format of structure goes. You can still release single issue floppies, but either cut them down or consolidate them in more of a bigger format, because that would, or they could do it like, how they have their book format? It'll be like Batman by Grant Morrison, book 1. Start doing that. Do like DC Comics presents whatever
100-page ones, but do it like themed.
Yeah.
Like, this is the
so people know what to do. You start right here. Yeah.
This is the Batman 100-page, and it has the Bat family. This is the Superman. It has a Superman family. And then ones that don't have huge casts, like Wonder Woman and like Green Arrow, along those lines, those can all be in one 100 DC 100-pager.
Yeah, or including the Batman Superman one. Yeah, so people, when they're reading and finish with Batman and Superman, they start flipping and they see Green Arrow. That might actually interest them, Also, that would keep them alive more, because people are going to be able to get to see them next to these big characters, and it's just a natural thing. And this guy, he had tweeted here, he says, back in the day, the guy who would buy 6 comics and also hardcovers, today he buys 6 variant covers and the hardcover of that same title. Damn, he's just taking a shot at me. Fuck. The math doesn't add up. People think that the variant covers increase sales, but that's a short blanket. Yeah, these are all short-term bullshit things. Like, variant cover scheme has been going on forever. And that's actually nothing new at all.
Well, they need to stop doing it.
They won't, man.
They won't. But it's ingrained in the industry, but they need to stop doing it, because variant covers are fun, don't get me wrong, but they're a waste of time. The variant cover for issue 2 is not going to be worth fucking shit, no matter who draws it. I'm sorry.
Despite them always saying first printing. Yeah,
issue printing. 1, if you get like a J. Scott Campbell issue 1 variant, then it might be worth some money. But I'll tell you right now, the comic book industry for resale and collectors is shit right now. It is the worst it's ever been. So, I mean, you shouldn't be buying comics to get rich on resale, because it's just not going to happen.
And the only way you could ever do that is unless you really had old shit. Like,
well, there's the golden ones.
Stuff. Yeah.
There's like the Marvel Star Wars #1 from back in the day.
Yeah.
It's held its value. Superman #1, Spider-Man, Adventure Comics, whatever it was that he premiered.
Yeah,
15,
first appearance of Punisher and Spider-Man. Yeah,
stuff like that holds faith. But like during the plague, there was Darth Maul #2, which had the first appearance of that bounty hunter that was killed in Boba Fett. I forgot what his name is, but anyways, that was during the plague. That was like almost $1,000 book. Like right now, you can get the graded copy at graded 9 for like $50. So it's like, it's not even worth grading it anymore. So yeah, the resale market is just
also
terrible.
This right here, this reply to Scott Snyder was another thing that I wanted to mention in this video too. And he pretty much sums it up the way I would say it. Does say something sad about the current state of the industry, though, that even one of the lower selling books back then could go on for 40 issues. So what he's basically saying, because he didn't write this very good, but what he's saying is it's kind of more of it's kind of more telling on the industry currently, and kind of saying something about where the comic book industry is going, that a Green Arrow book can't even get to 40 issues. That's actually more of a blanket statement on the industry itself. It's like, that must mean several things. Is the storytelling bad, or do people, or are people just buying this?
There.
Well, Is
It's
it the
like when
storytelling's bad, or is what you just said is true? Or people are
yeah,
only buying this for variant covers, and they know after a certain issue, it's not selling enough. That means they just stop buying. So the
yeah.
amount of buyers just tank completely.
Back in the day was kind of similar to pre-Endgame Marvel movies, where like Captain Marvel could be a shitty movie, but it's still making like $800 million. Back in the day, even the shitty books, they were
Dude, like What
selling
If
enough.
book got to like
Well, yeah,
100 issues.
yeah,
Crazy.
they were selling enough that that they could justify their assistance. It's just not there anymore. The market's not there anymore. Um, their availability or accessibility is garbage. And the floppy market, unless they do some kind of change to get it into more people's hands, is going to die. It's just, we're already seeing it. We're seeing the death of the floppy market more and more to where it just isn't justified making them and buying them.
Marvel knows that. They only
Why
take
am I going to
15
buy a
issues.
single issue of Arrow for what up to like $6 in some situations
Yeah,
when I
it
can
was
just wait?
$4.99 for Arrow. Yeah,
Yeah, $4.99 for the Arrow, so it's gonna be over almost $6 after taxes. Or I could just wait for the collected and buy it for 20 bucks.
right.
You know, I'm not gonna. It doesn't make
Or
sense.
Mike brings up a good point too. It's either the market isn't there, or the market is only full of collectors, not readers, right? So if the market is full of collectors, like you said, they're going to fall off at a single point. After like 3 issues, they'll stop buying because they print less and less variant covers on these subsequent issues because they don't sell
Yeah,
as well as the first one, right? So the whole industry is just built off of right now currently gimmicks of like variant covers and blind bags and collectors. God damn it.
yeah.
That one tweet was like back in the day, you could get 100 issues of a C-list character, and now you got to beg on Twitter for a Green Arrow book. People on Twitter don't read the books. I
Well,
firmly do
if
not
there
believe
was
people are
enough
reading the
people
book.
reading them, then
It's when you
yeah,
canceled,
a
obviously.
couple people like I don't even understand why people are upset that Green Arrow is being canceled, because if enough people was reading Green Arrow, it wouldn't be canceled. So it's like I get, it's I get that, but it's people aren't buying it. It doesn't matter if the critics say it's good. It doesn't matter if it wins
And no
award.
one believes critics anymore anyway. People don't even like access me people anymore. That kind of shit used to mean something back in the day. That means nothing now that maybe IGN has a quote on your trade where it says
Yeah.
best insert character story ever. That means nothing. It
Well, and they've
literally does
destroyed
nothing.
the audience and market enough to where they don't have that good faith anymore. Like, and plus, too, people's pockets are tight. If I'm going to drive a half hour to get to my comic book shop and I've got a pull list, I don't want to be spending $150 every time I walk in there because I want to get, 15 titles, or, I want to get 20 books. And it's so if I want to cut down on costs, titles are going to go out the window. And unless it's a super great title, then I'm just not going to follow it anymore because, it's just not worth it.
Also, these replies here really truly reflect a lot of what we had said in this video. So this person had a really good one where he says it's because comics aren't very good anymore. That I do disagree with. I think people listen to what other people say about books and not actually read them for themselves. Is every book good? No, that's just not, it's impossible, right? But I don't think everything's bad. I do think a lot of people only listen to what people say about books and rather than reading them and judging them for themselves. But maybe it's because I'm old and grumpy. I started reading in 2001, but it feels like around New 52, DC and Marvel started hiring younger people with new ideas, cheaper writers, and things just get worse. To be completely fair, you do need another generation. That's how these things keep evolving, but there's a new character replacing your favorite. That is true. There's a new event every 2 months. True. Continuity is all over the place. I agree. I love comics, but my pile of read at this point is going back a year because it's just not exciting and nothing gets built up anymore. It's very sad. So yeah, I disagree with some of this stuff to a certain extent, but I understand what he's saying. This guy Andrew talked about your point here. As much as much as people want to say the price of comics isn't the issue, I'm sorry, but yes, it is. More people will concentrate on their favorite books or characters nowadays and are really hesitant to pick up a lot of extras that they may have in the past due to cost. True. I can't believe I'm defending a company like DC, but to be fair, most comics back in the day would sell 100K at a cowbell estimate. Yeah, there was a bigger market for comics back in the day. They just were. That's just agreeable. Agreed, but back in the day, comics were also significantly cheaper than they are now. But yet people still bought them at mass, though. Even they were
Well, and it's relative to the value of the dollar at the time. So
yeah.
it's like, yeah, it was only $1, but yeah, minimum wage was
But you
like
had a massive
$3.
reader base, though. Like
Yeah,
for
and minimum
yeah.
wage was like at $4 an hour. So
What?
yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Economics shaped that differently. Yeah.
yeah.
Because outside of comics, Green Arrow has been ignored. If Peacemaker can become a household name, then so can Green Arrow. Is Peacemaker a household name?
Well, it's one of those things. Is I don't know the sales, but I haven't heard about any Peacemaker comic tearing up.
Peacemaker ongoing series are literally not even a thing. Peacemaker gets
Yeah.
like 6-issue miniseries. That's all he really gets.
Well, that's all characters should get anymore.
Character like Peacemaker should get only 6
I
issues.
don't know if ongoings are worth it. Really, I don't. I mean, unless there's a clear vision and they have like a Scott Snyder, I would trust him with 50 issues of Batman. But there's other people that are just like, I don't know if they have the stomach for the long-term stuff. And also, too, I think the big problem with comics is distribution. I think it's a massive problem with comics.
Yeah.
It's one that's not brought up nearly enough. Because that
like
was another big
to your point, distribution and advertising.
Yeah. One other thing back in the 90s, why were the comics selling more? Because you could walk 10 feet and there was a comic book. Even in the small town that I lived in, that was like barely a blip on the map. There's only one street down the middle of it. It's a tiny little town. Had comic books at their gas station and at our pharmacy. Now you have to kind of look up on the internet comics near you. And like if I did that in my town right now, the closest shop is 20 minutes away. So that's a huge deal when it comes to buying these things if you can't only buy them.
Also, here's another one
specialty
too.
shops.
Comics just aren't as popular as they used to be. Also, Green Arrow isn't that interesting. I don't know about that. That's I just disagree with that one. I'm sorry to say, I think I'd rather have a dog welder run. But I don't think that the first part I could agree, but the second part is just, that I disagree with. There's a lot of responses here. This actually got a pretty nice response out of people. This other book, there's a lot of books people say that got a lot of big issue runs back in the day. Let's see. This person says the newsstand model is what made and sustains comics. Direct market took away kids discovering comics while moms shopped. And DC, they did their Dollar Tree thing, but they need to push that more.
1,000,000%.
Accessibility is what I mentioned earlier. Discoverability and accessibility are the two major issues that would hinder comics. If something is not accessible to someone in an easy to get route, they just won't know it exists. It's just how the average person functions.
Like Scott Snyder said, even though he didn't put the dots together.
Well, it's like he can't. He's too nice.
He mentioned that Green Arrow was doing better in graphic novel. Well, okay, why is that happening? Is there more people who want to buy a graphic novel? Or is it there's more people that
he said Gotham City? It was Gotham City Central.
Yeah, Gotham Central. It's like is it because graphic novel wise more people actually find it because they can't find graphic Gotham Central in a comic book shop that's in some place that they don't know? Like it's always astounded me how availability is a massive factor. And people don't really give it as much credit. Like if you're going to operate a food stand and you make the best burgers in America, but you only have one stand in one mall in one tiny little town that no one has ever heard of, you're not going to sell that many burgers. You might sell enough burgers to survive and to do decent.
You're talking about reach, yeah.
But it's that reach in that location. Comic books now, if you want to buy a floppy, the only place to buy a floppy is in a comic shop. There are less than 2,000 comic shops in America. There's some people who don't have a comic shop within 50 to 60
I don't.
miles.
I would have to drive out to the nearest ones. At least minimum 30 minutes away. Minimum.
Yeah, I'm 20. You're like 30 minutes away from one. How's a 12-year-old supposed to get a copy of Green fucking Arrow? How is anyone going to know about Green Arrow like copy wise, unless they find it at Target in a compact or
That's
at a
why I
Barnes
like
and
the
Noble.
idea that DC were putting their comics back in Dollar Trees, but you need
That's
to make,
exactly.
but you
It's
need to make a
genius.
bigger push. They need to be in Dollar Generals. They need to be in gas stations like 7-Elevens or Shell or Mobile. They need to be in gas stations. They need to be in liquor stores. And they need to be in Dollar Generals.
Well, people will complain, the collectors will, and I've heard people bitch about this. Well, if you have it at a spinner rack in a grocery store, it's going to get tore up, so the collector value would be off. And I'm like, well, you're not selling Spider-Man at a grocery store for collector market. You put a standard cover A, and that's mass produced.
It's
for
mass
grocery
printed.
stores,
It shouldn't be for
pharmacies.
collecting.
If you want a
yeah.
variant, go to a comic shop because you're a collector. You know how to get to a comic shop. You'll be able to get your variant, no problem. Leave the variants out of the mass production. We need mass production reader copy.
Yeah, like cover A's that are mass printed. When people make that argument, I was like, "What are you talking? These are mass printed. They're not even meant to be like that. Like that is ludicrous. Or people's brains in this industry and regular fans are retarded. Guys, listen what I'm saying. Mass print. There's no collectability to it. It's literally called mass print. There's no scarcity to it. It's not supposed to be this thing that's hard to get. It's supposed to be easy to get, and you put those books in there, like you said, and then that kid discovers it for like a few dollars. That makes a comic book fan for life. Just getting that book could make a fan for life. And then he tells his kids when he grows up and he buys more of them growing up. It's just, it always perplexes me. Like same with you, that people think this is rocket science. It's like, it's not. It's really done. Discoverability and accessibility will make all this happen. But what is your final thoughts about DC Comics canceling their current ongoing Green Arrow series? Because I think at this point, they're just going to use their absolute universe to reinvigorate a character's image and then do another ongoing series. Green Arrow will have another ongoing series. I don't doubt that. But
Green Arrow's not gone for good. It's just this series didn't sell enough to keep it going. And just like with the movie industry and the TV industry, if the fans and the market's not there, they're going to have to make changes. So he's not even getting a regular ongoing absolute deal. They're just going to introduce the Green Arrow in absolute evil #1. So who knows if this Green Arrow is going to have like a full series or along those lines, or is he just being introduced for a big giant arc and then we won't see him again until he shows up in like the Flash or something.
I'll show you guys right here before you go. I had this tweet. Sorry, that's League of Legends stuff I'm watching after this.
Okay, so it is a absolute.
This is what they did with Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter was announced as a 6-issue miniseries, and Scott Snyder had said, if you guys buy the books, they will keep going. And then Martian Manhunter's absolute book got extended to 12 issues. So it's all just based off of sales at this point. Well, at least for DC. Marvel is a different fucking beast in general. But it's announced as a 6-issue miniseries. It's coming out spring season of next year. Ralph Albuquerque and Pornsack Pitchett Show. What no these names? His name is Pornsack.
What the fuck are they getting these people?
That writer's name is Pornsack. I know Ralph Albuquerque. His art's very good, but a writer's name is Pornsack.
These writers are kind of like kickers in football. They have these really weird long names.
His name might as well be Long Dick Style or something. I don't fucking know. But yeah, what your final thoughts on this?
I'm not surprised. The sales are down, and until
across the board on a lot of titles.
Until they can figure out the distribution problem with floppies, we're just going to see a downward trend until there's just barely any comic book shops left, except for maybe like less than 20 over America. It'll dwindle down because it's a dying format that is not given the chance to have any kind of resurgence. They might change their mind if it gets low enough and it gets bad enough to where someone comes in and says we can do something with this, and they get a whole new leadership. Like DC's trying, and they're doing a better job of distribution. Marvel has had its head up its ass since the 90s, and until you see a shakedown from top to bottom, Marvel's going to continue on the kind of whatever downward spiral that they're doing. But yeah, it's not surprising, especially with this industry and the cost factor for floppies. It's not worth it. Like, I don't make floppies anymore because it's just, for someone as small as me, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the price point. Trying to convince someone to spend $10 for even a 40-page book is really hard in this economy. So yeah, it's just not surprising. Hopefully they pull their heads out and they start working on distribution and mass production, maybe even going back to newspaper style print, or like you were talking about, distributing anthologies. So instead of a spinner rack, you get a Marvel 100-page book that has like 3 different comic books in it, characters to introduce. Maybe they might start doing something like that, which I think would be a smart deal for
DC needs
gas
to bring
stations.
back, that's what. DC needs to
stuff
bring
along
back
those
the
lines.
100-page giants. Like, have a Batman or Superman current or new ongoing series lead the book, because they'll buy for those characters, and then have the BC list characters that they can't really have long comic book runs in that format, because not only do you consolidate the amount of books you release, but you release that big of a book for $10. There'll be some sales there. There will be.
Yeah.
If the story,
you already have the material, you paid the people, they created the book, repackage it as many ways as possible to get into people's hands. And maybe one day they will. I know DC's trying. I don't know about Marvel, Disney, the whole apparatus. I don't have much faith in. They seem to have no problem losing billions of dollars, destroying IPs.
i.e. Jimmy Kimmel. You're cool with losing just billions.
Disney is essentially an IP serial killer at this point. Like, they've gone through and just slaughtered most of my childhood and ruined a lot of the stuff that I loved. And they've done it quite recklessly and lost billions and billions of dollars doing it. So I don't know what will it take to get them to pull their heads out, but not to go too far into that. But yeah, this is not surprising.
But yeah, I just see it ending where DC is just going to use their absolute universe to reinvigorate interest in a character, because there's no other way to do it other than a shiny new number 1 with blind bags and variants, and that gimmick is only going to last until like the 4th or 5th issue, when because people gotta understand this. Variants are up in the first 2 issues, and the variants get massively slashed on the later ones. So yeah, we'll see what happens with DC Comics in another adventure for the Green Emerald Archer. So thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video. I'm MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're going to be signing out, guys. See you guys later. Goodbye. Peace. And as we wrap up here, do you have anything you want to let the audience know about before we head out?
No, just subscribe to my channel, YouTube/Lunchbox Comics, and catch me here on Tuesdays when I do my live draw. I might throw in a live draw this Sunday since I don't have an estate sale. But yeah, just keep an eye on my YouTube page. I'm pretty much going to start doing everything on that. I do some stuff on TikTok, but even then's kind of dying out. So I think I might just stick to YouTube. But yeah, keep an eye on here. And see me on Tuesday on the live stream, Wednesday with MSK on the panel show, and then Fridays here talking about stuff.
Yep. So tomorrow I will be. I'll bring up my schedule because I can't remember jack shit. Honestly, I'm old. Tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. PST. Me and Labs Comic Fan do the MSK show. Gonna be doing a comic book review on Deadpool Batman #1. If that's what he wants to review, then if not, we'll choose something different. Then I'll probably stream Master Duel after that if I'm not feeling not too tired. And then Sunday, me and Professor Savage Dad are going to review the comic book from Von Coleman, Phenomenova #1. And then I'll do my episode of the Spectacular MSK after that's over on my comic book channel. And then get ready for pretty much a good, nice start off to the week. I got a one-on-one coming up Monday, then the MSK show, then another one-on-one after the MSK show that I do as a panel show. And then we're going to have a lot more awesome shows after that. So thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK